Hi all. So welcome to another lecture on our subject EC 303 Applied Electromagnetic Theory. Before we go to the next lecture, let me just go back to our previous lecture and we'll make some corrections. So the first correction is that when I took the length of the wire in the circuit, I have mentioned it as 10 centimeter here, which should be 1 centimeter. And also, when I did 3 by 1 here, I have put as 0.1, it should be 0.3. And so basically, this should be 30 centimeter. Okay, there is one more correction. So let me change that. So this is 30 centimeter. And if you go down, go to the last equation, it was dou I of z comma t by dot t. It was dot t here, it should be dou z. Okay. So let me start the new lecture. So this is our course EC 303 Applied Electromagnetic Theory. Okay, and we are dealing with module 4 transmission lines. So in today's lecture, we are going to find out the voltage and current in a transmission line. 2, we are also going to analyze the voltage waveform. And 3, we are also going to find something called as characteristic impedance. These three are the 3 portions that we are going to cover in this lecture. And it will be actually a continuation of our previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we had stopped at 2 different equations of voltage and current. Now we are going to manipulate these equations so that we will arrive at a solution for voltage and current. So let me write those equations again. So our equations were minus dou v of z comma t by dou z is equal to r into I of z comma t plus L into dou I of z comma t by dou t. This is first equation. And the second equation is dou I of z comma t by dou z is equal to G into V of z comma t plus C into dou V of z comma t by dou t. Okay. And we had marked this equation as equation number 1 and this as equation number 2. Now, before going into how to solve this equation, I would like you to introduce something called as phasor form, because we are going to solve in terms of phasor form. So in this case, the wave, as I told earlier, it will be sinusoidal wave. Okay. And the waveform will be in terms of both time and position. So I can write v z comma t as some constant, let's say v plus, this is some constant into cos of omega t minus beta z. So you see that the voltage waveform will be something like this. Similarly, I can write the current waveform also as I of z comma t is equal to I plus cos of omega t minus beta z. And again, I am repeating. So this has variation in time, variation in position. So this is for time variation, and this is for position variation. Similarly for current also. And omega and beta are constants. Okay. So this is basically the wave which is traveling through the transmission line. If I put this directly in the equation, like if you want to solve it something like this, okay, then so I won't say this as directly as v z comma t or I z comma t. I would say that as like these are the waveforms which is being traveling in the transmission line. Okay. So I am going to generalize this in the sense, in both the cases you have a term for time and there's a term for position. So I'm going to try to split this so that it will be easy for me to do the differentiation, because the differentiation here is with respect to z and with respect to t. So if I can somehow split this, it will be easy to do the differentiation. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this. I can write this v plus cos of omega t minus beta z as a real part of v plus e raised to minus j beta z into e raised to j omega t. Okay. So as you know, e raised to j theta is cos theta plus j sin theta. So real part of e raised to j theta is equal to the cos theta, because sin theta comes in the imaginary part. Similarly, e raised to j theta 1 into e raised to minus j theta 2 is equal to e raised to j of theta 1 minus theta 2, which is basically cos of theta 1 minus theta 2 plus j sine of theta 1 minus theta 2. Okay. And when you take the real part of this, e raised to j theta 1 into e raised to minus j theta 2. This will be cos of theta 1 minus theta 2. So if you apply these two in this equation, you see that real part of v plus e raised to minus j beta z into e raised to j omega t is equal to real part of v plus, this is basically theta 2, and this is basically theta 1. I can write this as e raised to j of omega t minus beta z. Okay, so this is real part of v plus cos of omega t minus beta z plus j sine of omega t minus beta z. Okay. Now, again, the sine term is the imaginary part. So I can write this as v plus cos of omega t minus beta z. So this is the equation of the wave which we said earlier. So this is a time dependent and space dependent wave. But the important thing is when we represented this wave in terms of this form, you see that the time and the space are separated. So that will help us in solving the equation. Okay. So I'm going to write this term as Vs of z. So the real part of v plus e raised to minus j beta z into e raised to j omega t is equal to real part of vs of z into e raised to j omega t. We are representing it as vs of z because e raised to minus j beta z has a z variation. So the term will vary with respect to the position. So we represent it as a function of the position z. And this Vs of z is called the phasor form. Is called the phasor form. And e raised to j omega t will be same for any type of the wave because it is always omega t, cos of omega t, and it is same also for current also. Okay. Now we need to see if we differentiate this because we are finally going to differentiate with respect to z here and with respect to t here. Okay. So what happens if we differentiate this? Okay. So if I differentiate with respect to t, when I do dou by dou t of v of z comma t, so this is I can write as dou by dou t of real part of vs of z into e raised to j omega t. Okay. So I can take the differentiation inside. So this is real part of dou by dou t of vs of z into e raised to j omega t. Now, vs of z is independent of t. So Vs of Z, this is independent of t. So only dependency of t is in e raised to j omega t. So I can write this again as real part of Vs of Z into dou by dou t of e raised to j omega t. Now you know the differential of e raised to j theta is j theta, but if theta has a constant, then that will come in as a product term to the solution. So this is actually real part of Vs of Z into j omega into e raised to j omega t. So if you look at again, you see this equation is in a similar form as that of our previous equation. Like you have a e raised to j omega t and there is a term multiplied with e raised to j omega t. Now this will become the new phasor. So this is basically j omega Vs of Z as the new phasor for dou by dou t of V of Z comma t. So what happens if you differentiate with respect to space? So dou by dou Z of V of Z comma t is equal to dou by dou Z of real part of Vs of Z into e raised to j omega t. So you can take again the dou by dou Z inside. So this is real part of dou by dou Z Vs of Z into e raised to j omega t. So if you look at here, e raised to j omega t is independent of Z. So that will be a constant when you differentiate with respect to Z. But you don't know how Vs of Z will vary. Okay. So it will have some kind of a variation. You don't know whether the V plus term has a dependency with Z. So we are not assuming any kind of dependency or any kind of variation, or we are not doing any generalization. Like we are doing a generalization because of which you cannot directly differentiate this. Okay. So this I can write as, so this term will be our new phasor. So you have dou by dou Z Vs of Z. Now since Vs of Z is a function of Z only, so I can write this as d by dz Vs of Z. Okay, because previously we have done partial differentiation because there is two variables in that parameter, which is Z and T. But here in this case, you see Vs of Z is only a function of Z. So I can write dou by dou Z Vs of Z as d by dz Vs of Z, because the partial differentiation and the normal differentiation is same because the same variable is being differentiated. And so this will become the new phasor for d by dou by dou Z of V of Z comma t. Okay. So let us substitute this. And also now Vs of Z, we know that it is depending on Z because it is varying in Z. So I'm going to, whenever I write, I just write as Vs, that's all. Now, whenever you see Vs, it means that it is having a dependency of set. I can write as Vs of set, but for my convenience, I am going to put it as Vs in the equations. So you should understand that Vs means Vs of set, and it has a dependency with set. So let me go back to the equation. So the first equation is you have differentiation of v z comma v of z comma t with respect to z, and differentiation of I of z comma t with respect to t. So let me substitute that this in the first equation. So whatever we have derived till now, I'm going to substitute in the first equation. So I can write equation 1 as, we know that dou v of z comma t by dou z is d vs by dz. As I told earlier, I am omitting the vs of z because we know vs is a function of z. So there's a minus sign here. So this is equal to r into. Now I of z comma t is also same as that of the same form as that of v of z comma t. So same, all these derivations that we have looked on phasor is applicable in the same way as that of for I of z comma t as that of v of z comma t. So I can write r into, there will be I of z comma t, so which we can write as is. So this will become r into is plus. Now, if you look at the equation, you see there is L into dou I of z comma t by dou t. So we have told that dou I of z comma t by dou t is similar to that of dou v of z comma t by dou t, which gave me a result as j omega vs of z. So for my case, when you write dou I of z comma t by dou t in phasor form, this will be j omega is, because we have already derived that the phasor form of dou v z of comma t by dou t is j omega vs of z. In a similar way, dou I z comma t by dou t is j omega into is. So this I can write as j omega into is. So this is r plus j omega into is. I can write equation 2 is minus dou is by dou z is equal to g plus j omega c into is. So in this equation there is an L because it is j omega L. The L is coming because in the equation number 1 there is an L here which will come, and this part will be our j omega into is. Similarly, there is a c coming in this equation, and this part will be j omega into vs. So now you have two equations which is of more simplified form as that of the previous one. So let me name this equation as equation number 4, this as equation number 5. Okay, and there is one more mistake that I made. So this should be Vs. Okay, now I can substitute. So if you look at this equation, you have an expression in terms of Is here, because Is is equal to minus dou by dou dvs by dz divided by r plus j omega l. Similarly, you have a equation in terms of Vs here. So I can write from equation 4, Is is equal to 1 by r plus j omega l into dvs by dz with a minus sign. So if I substitute this in 5, you will get minus d by dz of minus 1 by r plus j omega l into dvs by dz is equal to g plus j omega c into vs. By 1 plus 1 by r plus j omega l is a constant because it doesn't vary with z. So I can always take it to the other side. So I can write this as d by dz of dvs by dz is equal to g plus j omega c into r plus j omega l into vs. Okay, so let me explain it again. So in this equation, you have an Is and Vs. What our main aim is to have an equation only in terms of either Is or in Vs. So both the equations have both the variables. So we are trying to solve the equation so that we can have only one variable in the equation. Okay, so I can write Is as from this equation 4 as minus 1 by r plus j omega l into dvs by dz from equation number 4. I substitute this Is value in this equation where Is is there. So that is minus d by dz multiplied by minus 1 by r plus j omega l into dvs by dz. R plus j omega l is a constant. So 1 by r plus j omega l, you can take it to this side. So it can multiplied by g plus j omega c. So that will come like this. Now dvs by dz, it is not a constant, it's a differential. So it will become d by dz of dvs by dz. Now what is d by dz of dvs by dz? It is basically d square vs by dz square. So that is equal to g plus j omega c into r plus j omega l into vs. Okay. So in this equation, equation number 6, you see it has only the vs as the variable. There is no is term. So this is like a single equation, single variable equation, second order equation, differential equation, which can be easily solved. Okay, so let me write this term. It's a very lengthy term. I don't want to always carry this term whenever I want to use the equation. So I'm going to write this term as gamma square. Okay, so I write gamma is equal to root over g plus j omega c into r plus j omega l. Okay, so I can always bring the right hand side to left hand side, which will become d square vs by d z square minus gamma square into vs is equal to 0. And this is our final form of our equation in terms of the voltage. So in a transmission line, the voltage will obey this equation. Differential, the second order differential of Vs minus gamma square Vs will be 0 at any point in the transmission line. You should remember the Vs term here is actually the phasor form. Okay, so we haven't gone to that time domain form yet. It is a phasor form, and Vs is also only dependent on Z. It is not depending on time here, but it is fine because time dependency is through e raised to j omega t, and e raised to j omega t, if, even if you differentiate or you integrate, you will always get back e raised to j omega t with a multiplication factor. So it is easy to manipulate. So what is the solution to this equation? Now, I'm not going to provide you the complete solution, the step-by-step solution. If anybody requires the solution, I can explain to you in the class. So I'm going to directly give you the solution because we are more interested in the final expression of the voltage. We are not interested in how we solve the differential equation and get the voltage. So the final equation of the voltage is V S offset, which is Vs, because I am just introducing back set, is equal to, there is a constant term called as V0 plus, there is e raised to minus gamma z plus V0 minus e raised to plus gamma z, where V0 plus comma V0 minus are some kind of a constants. Gamma is equal to root over r plus j omega l into g plus j omega c. Okay, so this is our solution to the equation number 7. So I'm going to name this as equation number 8. So this is your final waveform. So the voltage will always obey this waveform or this equation. But you should note this is in terms of Z only. We haven't introduced the time factor because Vs of Z is the phasor form. Okay. So let's introduce the time factor. Let's see how the waveform looks like. Let's analyze how the waveform will come in a transmission line. Okay. So you know V of Z comma T is real part of Vs of Z into e raised to j omega t. This is basically Vs of Vz comma t, which we have discussed in the starting of the lecture. Let's substitute the values. So this is real part of V0 plus e raised to minus gamma z plus V0 minus e raised to plus gamma z into e raised to j omega t. Now the question is gamma a real value or an imaginary value? Because then only you can take the real part. You should know whether gamma is real or imaginary. If you look at this equation, you see there is a j term here because of L and C. So definitely gamma will be an imaginary value. I wouldn't say it is an imaginary value, I would say it is a complex value. Okay, so gamma is a complex value. So any complex value you can write in terms of imaginary and real value. So I am writing gamma as alpha plus j beta because gamma is some kind of a complex value. For example, gamma will be like 1 plus 2j or something like that. And I say alpha is 1 and beta is 2. So I can always write any complex value as some alpha plus j beta. So I'm going to substitute that in this equation. So I can write this as real part of v0 plus e raised to minus of alpha plus j beta into z plus v0 minus e raised to alpha plus j beta into z multiplied by e raised to j omega t. Okay. So again, e raised to a plus b is e raised to a into e raised to b. So e raised to a plus b is e raised to a into e raised to b. So this I can write as v of z comma t is equal to real part of v0 plus e raised to minus alpha z into e raised to minus j beta z plus v0 minus e raised to alpha z into e raised to j beta z multiplied by e raised to j omega t the whole bracket. I just did e raised to a plus b is equal to e raised to a into e raised to b. Now let's take e raised to j omega t inside. So this will be real part of v0 plus e raised to minus alpha z into. So there's a e raised to minus j beta z and e raised to j omega t. So this will be e raised to j of omega t minus beta z plus v0 minus e raised to alpha z into e raised to j of omega t plus beta z. Okay, good. Now, since both are added up, you can take the real part of a plus b as real part of a plus real part of b. So this I can write as real part of v0 plus e raised to minus alpha z e raised to j of omega t minus beta z plus real part of v0 minus e raised to plus alpha z e raised to j of omega t plus beta z. Okay, because real part of a plus real part of a plus b is real part of a plus real part of b. So what is this term? This is basically e raised to j theta is cos theta plus j sin theta. E raised to alpha z is real. So this is a constant which is real. This is also real because we said alpha is real. Now again, but this part is a complex term. So this is complex which has real and imaginary part. The real part is cos. So only the cos term will come when you take the real part of this. So this is v0 plus e raised to minus alpha z cos of omega t minus beta z plus v0 minus e raised to minus alpha z, sorry, this is plus cos of omega t plus beta z. So this is the waveform that you see in terms of time and position inside your transmission line. So this is the waveform you are going to see inside the transmission line. We are going to analyze this waveform. We are going to see how the waveform looks like, because we found the solution. We found that okay, this is how the waveform is being this is the equation of the waveform in the transmission line. But we once we get an equation, we want to analyze how it looks like. Then only we can visualize that waveform. Then only we can study the parameters of the waveform. To visualize this, I am going to take only one term, because that the two terms are almost similar, except that one has e raised to minus alpha z, other has e raised to plus alpha z. One has cos of omega t minus beta z, other has cos of omega t plus beta z. So the two terms doesn't have too much of a difference between them. Like so, if you analyze one, the analysis will be similar to the other also. So I am going to take only currently this term. Okay, so I'm going to analyze for v0 plus e raised to minus alpha z cos of omega t minus beta z. So what we are going to do? We are going to visualize how this waveform looks like. Fine. So let's start from a very simple value. Let's say alpha is 0. So your e raised to minus alpha z is equal to 1. Okay. And then let's say z equal to 0. So you have cos of omega t. Okay. Now, so the t is the variable here. Let's take t as the following values. Let's take some values for omega and t. So omega is equal to 2 pi f. F is the frequency. Let's take f equal to 1. Okay. So let's take f equal to 1. So implies omega is equal to 2 pi. Now t varies. So t can be from 0 to any value in infinity. But we are going to take some values to see how the waveform looks like. So let's take t is equal to 1 by 12, 1 by 6, 1 by 3, 1 by 2, and 1. This is only for visualization purpose so that we'll see how the waveform looks like. Fine. So your omega t is equal to 2 pi t because f is equal to 1. This has values. So let me write in below the t values. So this has values. When t equal to 1 by 12, it has value pi by 6. When t equal to 1 by 6, it has value 2, sorry, pi by 3. When it has value 1 by 3, it has, the term has value 2 pi by 3. Okay. Let's take one more value. Let's take the value 1 by 4 also, because it will be easy to get 90 degree. So I have one more value, 1 by 4. So I have pi by 2, 2 pi by 3, pi, and 2 pi. So basically this is 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, 120 degree, 180 degree, and 360 degree. I'm just taking the values so that we can plot the values and see how it looks like. Okay. The t will take values ranging from 0 to infinity, and but we are going to plot only for this value. So you see, so basically the cos of omega t for these values, so we are substituting for cos of omega t for these values as cos 30 degree, cos 60 degree, cos 90 degree, cos 120 degree, cos 180 degree, and cos 360 degree. So, and if you say t equal to 0 also, then I can say 0. So basically it has some values like this. Okay, so this is t. It takes some values like this. Fine. Let's take now z equal to pi by 6. So cos of and beta equal to 1. So cos of omega t minus beta z will be cos of 2 pi t minus pi by 6. So what is 2 pi t minus pi by 6? Where t is equal to this values 0, 1 by 12, 1 by 6, 1 by 4, 1 by 3, 1 by 2, comma 1. So this again is, so for t equal to 0, this will be minus pi by 6. Let me write the t values again. So t is equal to 0, pi by, sorry, 1 by 12, 1 by 6, 1 by 4, 1 by 3, 1 by 2, 1. So 2 pi t minus pi by 6 will have values minus pi by 6, 0, pi by 3, pi by 2, There will be a value called 5 pi by 6, sorry, 2 pi by 3, 5 pi by 6, 11 pi by 6, etc. Okay, these are of different degrees, but let's look at, so basically if you compare these two values, this value and this value, this is from starting from minus 30 degree and going up to till 330 degree. But at t equal to 0, the first one have value 0, the second has value 30. For t equal to 1 by 12, the first one has value 30 degree, second one has value 0. So there is, you can see a shift being happening, right? So this is 30 degree. So when you draw the waveform, the first waveform without z or z equal to 0 is like this. Now second waveform at t equal to 0, it starts at minus 30 degree. The second waveform starts at minus 30 degree. So at t equal, so this is basically t. So at t equal to 0, first waveform starts at 0. The second waveform starts at minus 30 degree. Minus 30 degree is 330 degree, which is same as of this value here. So at 30 degree, it starts from, so at t equal to 0, it starts from 30 starts from minus 30 degree. At t equal to 30 degree, it reaches the value 0. So this I have, it's not a cosine waveform. I have plotted as sine, but it will be same for cosine also. So you can see it comes something like this. Okay. If you draw them separately, we can see there is a shift in the waveform. So this is for z equal to 0. This is for z equal to pi by 6. This is for all values of t. This is also for all values of t. So if you consider a point P here, the P has shifted from here to here. Now if you take another set value, it, the P value would have already shifted to a different place. So the P value might have shifted here. Okay. So when you change both time and the position at the same time, so let's say this is z equal to pi by 3. You see that if you are standing on a value p, so let's say this is 1 because this is maximum value of cos. If you are standing on that value 1, you find yourself, when you look at, if you look forward, you can see a wave. Let's say you're standing here. If you look forward in this direction, you see a wave in front of you, but you will not be traveling along the wave. Instead, you will be just shifting. Okay, so you are standing there. It's just like surfing on the seawater. Like if you have seen surfing, when a wave comes, the person will move over, person will stand over the wave, and he just goes along with the wave. He doesn't fall inside the wave. Similarly, it is just like surfing where you will be on top of the wave, but you will not fall into the wave. You will be just traveling in this direction like this over the wave itself. You will be having that, you will be in that constant position. You will not be traveling down and up the wave. This is how the wave in transmission line looks like. So this is called as a forward traveling wave. So when you have cos of omega t minus beta z, you have a forward traveling wave, because you see the point P is traveling forward. Okay, so you feel when you are on the top of the wave at for the value 1, you feel that you are going in front, in towards the front. So I'm not going to derive for cos of omega t plus beta z, because you see this will be a backward traveling wave. So if you are in this waveform where it is cos of omega t plus beta z, you feel that you are going backwards. The wave, you see the wave, but you feel that you are going backwards. So if I draw this, so if this is the point P, you feel that you are going backwards. This is time. So this is again for different values of z equal to 0, some z equal to z1, and then z equal to z2, and goes on. Okay, so this is called as backward traveling wave. Okay, so the solution of the differential equation gave you two waves. One is a forward traveling wave and other is a backward traveling wave. But it is not the only things that is there in the equation. Our equation has V0 plus e raised to minus alpha z cos of omega t minus beta z. Here alpha we put as 0, but alpha need not be 0, it can be any value. So what happens if alpha is some constant value? Let's take alpha is equal to 1. So you have V0 plus e raised to minus z cos of omega t minus beta z. So if alpha is equal to 1, your e raised to minus alpha z is e raised to minus z, and the graph for e raised to minus z is something like this, because when z equal to 0, this is 1. When z equal to 1, this is 1 by e. Z equal to, this is 1 by e square, and e is some positive value 2.3 or something. So when you increase z, the graph decreases, and you are multiplying this with your cos of omega t minus beta z, which will be some kind of a sinusoidal waveform. So this is e raised to minus z, this is cos of omega t minus beta z. So the resulting waveform will looks like this. So your waveform after multiplication with e raised to minus alpha z or e raised to minus z, it looks like this, which means this waveform got attenuated to the same frequency as of this, but your amplitude keeps on decreasing. So the alpha, and this is coming only because there is a e raised to minus alpha z and there is a constant value for alpha. So alpha you can take always positive. So alpha is called as attenuation constant, and beta is called as phase constant. Okay, and your expression for beta is 2 pi by lambda. We will see this in detail when you study electromagnetic wave. So alpha is called as attenuation constant and beta is called as phase constant with value 2 pi by lambda. So here when you took alpha is equal to 1, you had some kind of an attenuation. If I took alpha is equal to 2, this is e raised to minus 2z. So your graph will go more attenuated. That means if I take alpha is equal to, it will be e raised to minus 2 alpha z, and your graph will be something like this. So this is for alpha is equal to 1 and this is for alpha is equal to 2. So the attenuation here will be, here it will be more and more attenuated. Okay. So, and you have in in the equation there is one more term v0 minus e raised to plus alpha z cos of omega t plus beta z. So the question might arise, if this is plus alpha z, will there be an increase in the wave? Because when there is minus alpha z, you have an attenuation. When there is a plus alpha z, does the wave increase in size? No, because this is actually v0 minus e raised to minus alpha of minus z cos of omega t minus beta of minus. Okay. Now, this wave is traveling in the backward direction. Because of which the z will be negative. So if you are traveling in the forward direction, your z is positive. If you are traveling in the backward direction, your z is negative. So when you have z negative, you will have e raised to minus alpha some value. Okay, because of which the backward traveling wave will also be attenuated. Okay, and the units of alpha is Napier per meter, and the unit of beta is radians per meter. Okay, so in our discussion today, we found the Phasor form of a sinusoidal wave. We represented in terms of Phasor form, and using the Phasor form we found the different partial derivatives of it with respect to t and z. We found the equation of the wave in the phasor form, and then we solved the equation and we found out that the equation looks like v0 plus e raised to minus gamma z plus v raised to v0 minus e raised to plus gamma z. And then we found that the solution is basically two sinusoidal or cosine waves with a multiplication factor of e raised to minus alpha z in one wave and e raised to plus alpha z in another wave. Then we tried to visualize the wave, and we found that when we visualize the wave, because of the z value, for each value of z, the wave gets shifted. And if you are standing over the wave, you will get shifted. You will not travel along the wave, you will just get shifted as like this. And this is a forward traveling wave because you are getting shifted in the forward direction. So for the other term, which is cos of omega t plus beta z, you will get shifted in the backward direction. And so this is called as backward traveling wave. So along with cos omega t minus plus or minus beta z, there is e raised to plus or minus alpha z. Because of alpha, so e raised to minus alpha z, if alpha is always positive and z is varying, you see there is a e raised to minus alpha z is basically something which decreases with increasing z. So when you multiply e raised to minus alpha z and cos of omega t minus beta z, the wave attenuates. So alpha is called as attenuation constant. The wave attenuates in both direction, in positive z and negative z, because even if there is e raised to alpha z cos of omega t plus beta z, the z, since the wave is traveling in the backward direction, the z is negative, because of which it will get attenuated in that direction also. So whenever you stand in a transmission line, you will see both the waves. You will see a wave which is traveling in forward direction, and you will see a wave which is traveling in backward direction. And you will see something called as standing wave. You will see a wave which is not traveling at all. But actually there are two waves which travels in both directions. But finally you will see a wave which is static. Okay, so we'll stop it here, and we will next lecture we will just revise this once again, and then we will look at the next topic. Please go through this lecture for the next class, and we will discuss it in the next class. Thank you.